Hi everyone, we are back. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Hope you're feeling good and you can remember what day it is. I can't. It's time for the June Q&A, the May Q&A. I'm Josie and I'm an analyst at Hutch.
Who's next?
Probably you.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Tim, and I do analytics and marketing at Hutch.
And I'm Jonathan, and I'm design director at Hutch.
Yeah, the three of us haven't actually sat together in a call for quite a while, so while we're here, actually, how are both of you?
It's good. Yeah, it's all fine.
Yeah.
I'm quite lucky, but yeah, nothing to worry about really. Got a little garden, got some cats, got good internet.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
What about you, John? Are you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry, that was just me avoiding one of those classic video conference disruptions from my daughter. So they're becoming a common occurrence, but I think everybody's quite okay with that because it's happening to everyone. But no, I mean, okay. I think we, sort of, Hutch is sort of fairly I mean, sort of remote working has always been part of sort of what we've done, so that side of it has not been sort of too big a shock, but obviously it is very strange times at the moment. But yeah, on the whole, sort of coping fine, playing quite a lot of games, which is
Same.
good opportunity.
Yeah. No, but it's good. I think the fact that Hutch is still running on all cylinders, it's really given us a lot to do. I definitely think that it's made me feel a lot better about sort of getting up every morning just to have something cool to get on with and to keep making games. That's been really nice. But what we're here to talk about is the Q&A. I can just about remember what date it is. So this is the May Q&A we're doing now for the answers to the comments you left on the April Q&A. You should know the rules by now. Go ahead and leave your question in the comments section down below. If you see another question someone else has left you'd like the look of, give it a like because we look at the most liked comments first. And we're going to start off straight away with a carbon fiber pack. Oh,
someone
got
at
a
the
delivery.
door.
Oh dear.
That's right.
The perils of video conferencing.
My partner can take care of that.
That'll be somebody who's come to leave their comment in person, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out what they have to say.
That's not an appropriate way to do it, by the way. Please leave the questions in the YouTube comment section. First carbon fiber pack goes to Ryan Ware, who asks, I'm interested to know where the eventual ceiling will be with regards to top performance cars. We have old rally and Le Mans legends, Group C, as well as 90s British touring cars. Are there plans to include newer motorsports such as modern Le Mans prototypes to match modern GT cars in game, and perhaps open wheelers or other forms of motorsport?
It's definitely an interesting question. I think motorsport is something that is sort of feels like it's there were a few sort of motorsport cars sort of dotted about when Top Drives first launched, and that's been growing and growing, and sort of as it grows, we get the kind of the themes emerge as well. So I it's definitely a topic that gets talked about in the fact that potentially we should kind of treat it slightly more formally, or look at a way to sort of just take a slightly more formal approach to the motorsports, as suggested, and sort of group them and potentially add more sort of in groups. No firm plans at the moment. I mean, I know in terms of what the cap is, I bore everyone with a clip of the is it the Porsche 919 kind of prototype Le Mans style car, but they let their engineers just run wild, really, and did an Evo version of that, which is not eligible for, as far as I know, is not eligible for any motorsport series in the world. And there's some shots of it going around the Nürburgring that just honestly they just look sped up like several times. It just doesn't look possible. So yeah, in terms of ultimate, I think for me at the moment, that's probably where the given the current world, that would probably sit at the very, very top of all, almost every stat we've got, especially handling. So yeah, I think with anything like that, I mean, there's probably some, I know Red Bull and sort of other major game series did some sort of fantasy fantasy performance cars from time to time that might
Yes.
exceed the realistic limits of what we've got in the game. I think that's just something we're just gonna we're just gonna keep looking at, really. We need to be a bit careful that we don't obviously add something into the game that is just so freakishly fast that it breaks something.
We have a couple of those already, you know. There's the Copo Camaro.
Oh yes,
right.
Yeah.
There's two versions of prize cars. They're going to destroy the drags. I'm still not sure what's the best way to get those into the game community, but
no,
it's going to be pretty.
It feels like we might need to look at a sort of situation where there's actually sort of a quite a big RQ handicap. Almost goes into kind of extreme specialists.
That's true.
And even I'm not sure anyone else is that big a fan of this, but I've every now and again I'm sort of tempted to kind of chuck a monster truck in, or a snowmobile, or kind of just something kind of a bit of an outlier, but something that is just so again, it's it would definitely go into the ultra specialist. Maybe we need an ultra specialist tag, and you cannot use them in lots
most of the time. Yeah. But the other thing though is that with the RQ rescale, we have kind of stretched things up at the top. So the very top cars will be very expensive to use in terms of RQ. In fact, by the time this video comes out, it might have already happened. I don't know. But that we've sort of made room for them in a way in the game for those high-end cars. It's not quite as crazy as it would have been. Yeah.
So, good question.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ryan. You get a carbon fiber pack. Also getting one is Grimjau Jäger Jakes, familiar name by now, who asks, can we get, from now and then, maybe twice a year or something, 5 garage slots for free? It would be 1 billion times better than 2K cash.
I mean, it would, because it's worth a bunch of gold. So that's how that works. I mean, I would say on this that slots are clearly a key part of Top Drives. They're in demand. You want more all the time. But the regular challenge season now gives out. It works in quarters, and there's a month, and then a second and a third. And in the second and third months, you can earn 10 slots in the weekend challenge, and so that is 80 slots in a year, or was that like 6 2/3 slots a month? Obviously, you have to, compete, keep beating the challenge, win the prize cars you need to get to it. But that feels like a fairly nice amount of slots to be getting fairly regularly.
Given, like you say, given their intrinsic value in the game, and and they're like highly sought after. Having sort of engage with something like challenge mode feels like a good way to get those extra ones.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, thank you. The next question, getting a carbon fiber pack, comes from Piotr Wilk, who asks, could you do a motorsport update with more rally cars and touring cars and stuff like that? So another sort of modern motorsport
There's
question.
a hunger for this.
There is.
Yeah. So I mean, I probably sort of covered this a bit with that first question. It's something that I will pick up on. I'm still sort of heavily involved in the sort of the car selection and the cars, sort of the pipeline of cars going into the game. So I'll definitely put that on the list to sort of have a. It's not that it hasn't been discussed; it obviously has been, but kind of bring it back up again, and just see what current plans are from a motorsport angle, because I know we are involving the community more in car lists and in terms of kind of car choice, and it's no surprise, but the lists are quite sort of motorsport stuff is featuring more and more in the lists that are coming through or being generated. So I think it would be really nice to do something. Just I'm using the same word again, but kind of formalize that a little bit more in game, and give people a reason to kind of almost have a kind of dedicated motorsport collection. And then at the end of the day, they're some of the most exciting cars there are. So it's definitely keen to do that.
Yeah, definitely. The next question is from Will Hickman, who asks, instead of having a set price for rushing a fuse, could we see a staggered price, which is in correlation to the amount of time left?
Yeah. What funny thing happened there, right? There was an update a while back where if you looked at the cost to expedite a fuse, it was going down with time. But if you bought it, you got charged the full amount. And then we fixed that. So it's like, no, it's the full amount. But that was a little hint that there's some bit of code snuck in. It's like, oh yeah, we should do it like this. And so it's on the list, I believe. But the server side component did not yet get prioritized to actually make sure that you get billed the correct amount of gold. So yeah, on the list.
Yeah, cool. Okay, the next question comes from Nicholas Huzan, who asks, could we go back to the old times when carbon special offers were really a discount compared to normal carbons? For example, 2 years ago, you could still find specialist carbon fiber packs for $12.99 gold, or even less, sometimes $11.99 or even $9.99 sometimes.
Yeah, good old days, eh? The good old days when everything was great. Just to put some context on that, so Top Drives is coming up to 3 years now, and it's we're sort of learning about it and how it works and what makes sense for it all the time. I think the first 3, even 5 months or so, we weren't really sure, like, quite what does this game need? You know, it was like months before the first Tri-Series appeared, and then we've been working on format and how it works best. And so some of these sort of big discounts people remember fondly are from a time when we were like, how does this game even work? What even makes sense? What's a sensible way to price things? How does it work? And we've iterated over time. It's kind of, to be really honest as well, the game didn't really work well enough at the beginning to be worth supporting in the long run. We had to change some things. Tri-Series obviously make a really exciting moment that people are interested in. That was a big part of it. But we've had to sort of optimize the game so that it does make enough money for us to keep supporting it in the long run, like we are now. And so if we'd kept things exactly as they were, I don't think we'd be here now doing this. So unfortunately, it's just the cost of making it work. That said, we do still have some big discounts. I think what we got, the big packs that come out now with a new release of cars, which bundle in some slots and cash. They're really efficient, and they're bringing in all the new cars at the same time, so they're really great. What do we do for Black Friday? There was something which was a bigger discount than we've done before in a long time. So they're creeping in there, but not all the time. That is true. What the other thing as well that I always put to people, right? Who benefits? Hey, they'd be cheaper. You're like, great, I can get better cars. Yeah, so can everyone else. So what's happening there? And in particular, you're like, great, I can buy an additional, I don't know, 2 packs a month, right? People who buy an order of magnitude more packs than you can buy even more as well because the change in price, right? So it's never as simple as like, oh, if things could just be better, it would be better for me. It's like, no, it's a complicated game with lots of different people engaging in different ways. It would ultimately give the bigger advantage to the people who already have the most advantage, weirdly. So it's always a difficult balance to make. I do the occasional high value things, we still have them, and yeah, I think those are the ones that we're looking out for. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Great. Thank you, Nicholas. You're getting a carbon fiber pack. And
Yeah,
the
there's
last
one.
question. No, the last.
For
Yeah.
free.
Oh, yeah. Well done. Nice. The last one that we've got selected is from Pedro Borges, who asks, a lot of people skip the 5 races, especially veterans. Could you please give us a debrief sheet with results and times at the end, and even the possibility to watch any of them back to see what happened?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I have to say, if there's this from a design point of view, the race flow or the match flow was the single biggest challenge and unknown in Top Drives. We went through so many iterations and actually it wasn't until not sort of late in the day, but we were quite far into development when by the time that the sort of the final flow that's in the game at the moment sort of took shape and definitely felt like the strongest format. But it's that thing that the idea mentioned of the kind of idea to kind of be able to skip easily but then see some sort of kind of summary or even the potential maybe view highlights or go back and look at a race in depth. it sort of that touches on a few things that were that were tried, and it wasn't that they were they didn't work. So some of them did. It's just that we went down. We needed that one main format. So yeah, I mean it's a great suggestion. I think it would I think there would be be quite a few players who would like it. There's been talk also about the potential of actually some people might like going back in and viewing a full sort of real-time replay with telemetry, which is something that we can access in kind of in the development environment, and is quite interesting sometimes. Yeah, it'd be fair to say that there is nothing planned on that front, but I think the team would all agree that sort of definitely see the value of that, and maybe it's something that is due sort of more discussion as more players get as more players sort of become veterans or experts or whatever term you want to use. There's going to be more people potentially sort of skipping through matches quite quickly and benefiting from that. So yeah, I think it's sort of it's good that it kind of somebody's raised it, and I think worthy of a bit more discussion.
Yeah, and I mean I do think it's quite interesting the way you can skip, but you have to watch the first race. You can speed through the first race and then you can skip the rest. And in a way that feels sort of artificial. It's like, why can't I just cut to the chase? But I sort of quite like the way that keeps you tied into the game. There's never a point where you just completely transcend and you just skip everything all the time. You never even watch the race. I sort of like you stay in there a little bit. I don't know. I can see it being something, if we did add it, that you unlock at a late stage, because we want to sort of keep you engaged with that gameplay for a long time. I also, this is not a reason to keep it, but I quite enjoy there's a weird balance to it at the end of an event where it's like, oh my goodness, I've got to get these wins down as quick as I can so I can make it into tier 1. And then it's like, there's this guy who's maybe just above me. If I can keep beating this guy, then I can make it up. However, maybe there's a track set where I can't beat him, and maybe there's a race which I think I'll win, but I'll lose. But I've got very little time. So it's like, oh, is there enough time to watch how this goes and if I win that one, or should I just skip it? And then if it goes wrong, I'm going to try something else. So there's a weird little strategic moment on that choice.
Yeah. Is it can? It can give you occasional clues in terms of where a car's losing time.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I mean, that summary, is appealing, especially when you're like, yeah. Oh, the 5th race, how's that one going to go? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to have to skip through all of them to get to it. So I can definitely see how you'd want to be able to just go, boom, just do it all right now. Show me this one. Or maybe you sort of select them in advance, like, I don't care about any of them, or like, just show me this one and this one or something. I can envisage it, but I can also envisage there being a lot of other features we could add which add a lot more value. So it's going to be a tough one to put high up the list, I imagine.
I think there was I'm not sure we ever, I don't know if it ever made it into game actually, but there was a video mock-up done which was basically that idea of a results screen that actually had all 5 challenges playing at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And so then you would see the results, and it was like, if you wanted to, you could sort of tap on one and go into it and view that. So, no, it's like I say, sort of probably worth a bit more discussion, but nothing planned at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, all of you. Ryan Ware, Grimfjall Jegiakes, Piotr Will Hickman, Nicholas Huzan, and Pedro Borges for your questions. You all get a carbon fiber pack, so well done. And the next thing we're going to talk about real quick is the questions, the answers even, to those monthly questions that we left you. So if you remember, cast your mind back a whole month, and we were asking what was it, the top 3 of John's favourite gear shifters?
Yeah.
So we've got some answers here. The first answer comes from the Kraken HW, who says at number 3, the Pagani Huayra. At number 2, the Spiker B6, and at number 1, the 1983 Oldsmobile Hearst. So there's very niche car knowledge coming out just there.
Wow, I'm gonna have to have a quick. 1983
Oldsmobile Hearst.
Actually, I shouldn't be typing, should I? Yeah. Hear that?
Yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah.
So those are some very good choices. I've got another response here from Mick. Who says top 3 gear sticks without a doubt. Number 1, the Porsche PDK, where you unlock it with your index finger and pull it back with the whole hand. Feels like arming a fighter jet. Number 2 is the BMW manual M package for the E46 through E39 era.
It's a classic.
They say they own 2 E46s and the shifter feel is delightful. And their number 3 pick is anything that has a CAE short shifter as an optional package, like the Fiat 500 Abarth. And they also believe that the Lotus Exige and Elise Sprint and so on had it. They've also left the 992 GT3 automatic as a honourable mention, just saying. We've got
that's some specialist knowledge going
very
into
good.
that.
We love
Wow.
this.
That Lotus Exige is interesting.
Yeah. We've got another nod for the Pagani Huayra from Tilman Protzner.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
says,
basically a sculpture, really. I mean, you could put it on display somewhere.
Yeah. They also say that they really like the simplicity of the old Porsche 911 shift knobs and the gated shifter in a manual Audi R8 4.2 V8, which looks amazing as well. And then this is the last submission we've got from Willy Werkel, who asks, well, the funniest stick that everyone made jokes about is the one from the new Porsche 992, which looks like an electric razor. So a couple of repeat submissions in there, which is really cool. But John, would you like to reveal what what you decided?
I feel like now, I feel like mine are sort of a bit too common to even sort of go up again. That Oldsmobile is absolutely crazy. I don't even know what all those the Gearsticks do in it. But yeah, mine are not mainstream in terms of cars, but and actually, to be honest, when I set the question, it was like I had 3 definite ones, and actually having done a bit of research, all the other suggestions are very, very valid and honorary winners. So I'm gonna just add a huge disclaimer to that. But no, I think for me, I'm surprised actually nobody mentioned it in a way. I mean, you have to have a Ferrari open gate, just chrome sphere gear stick. As far as I know, the 599 was the last Ferrari to actually feature that absolutely classic gear stick arrangement. So I think if you're going to pick one, pick the last one that ever sort of rolled off the production line. The one that I've talked about before in the show is the Porsche Carrera GT, which I think has to go. It was sort of done in a kind of tribute to their old racing cars. I actually used balsa wood, as a way to save a few grams. I think the one in the Carrera is kind of birch and ash in layers. Yeah. But for a full on sort of at the time incredibly modern cutting edge performance cars, just a lovely touch when you look into the interior of that. And then
another reason, I was going to say another reason they did that originally was because with the heat constant was such a way that the overheating transmission wouldn't burn the driver's hands when it was made of wood, which is just very funny.
A nice old-fashioned solution really to that. And then I'm going to go for my first choice, which is also just a car that I just really want. So that's maybe biased my opinion a little bit, but is the titanium teardrop in Honda NSX, either Type R or R, depending on which territory you're in. It's just beautiful. It's just so it's just like machined perfection, really. It's and sort of epitomized sort of a lot of what was kind of great about that car, and it's just so simple. There's almost nothing to it, and yet it's when you see it, it's just like you just want to be in that car and using that gear stick and screaming up through to the high revs with an amazing engine, amazing car. So yeah, no, so is my 3 really. Hopefully.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very much for all of your submissions this time around. And what is going to be the question this time around, real quick?
So the question this one, we're going to do a sort of a themed one, given everything that's going on. It's what is the most interesting thing that you have seen driving past during lockdown? Because it's there are unusual times at the moment. The roads are extremely quiet as they should be, and I'm resisting the temptation to take the Caterham out a lot because it's not essential. So I'm resisting that. But yeah, I was trying to think back. I've seen sort of out for walks, out for cycles. Actually seen a couple of Morgans recently. Seem to be the car that I'm not sure why, but seem to be inundated with Morgans driving past me at the moment. But yeah, what's the most interesting thing you've seen being taken out for?
Yeah.
A bit of lockdown sort of fresh air.
Well, that's all we have time for this time around, but thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow us on the social channels above our head, leave your questions and your answers to our questions in the comments section below. Thanks very much for playing Top Drives. This has been the Top Drive Show. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.